Hey guys, it's Bish Sozzy, and we're here for episode 30 of the Berlin Dynamo series. And unfortunately, we do find ourselves back in 3 Liga. Um, Absolutely devastated that we're back here, but I've got to try and look at it as a positive. So essentially, the positive is we've got a chance for a fresh start. We're in a bigger stadium as well at the moment. I've got a little bit to talk about with that as well. It is a somber moment. Obviously, still in the job. We didn't actually get the sack, um, and theoretically, we're in I guess, a better position than when we actually got promoted last time. We've got 2.2 mil in the bank. We've made good profit this season as well. As you can see, I've got 500,000 currently in the wage budget. So what my sort of plan is at the moment is I'm going to dump all that transfer budget into wages. I mean, we can pretty much have a look and see how much I'll actually get. So it's not going to be enough. We might be able to get a player or two potentially. I'll do that now anyway. As you can see, we're still currently spending, over 51,000. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. Worth mentioning that I do have a lot of money to still come into the club. Debts and loans. I don't know where this transfer debts come from because we don't have any transfer debt. I don't know if that's maybe money the club still owed, potentially. I have no idea. Anyway, I'll show you the transfer activity that we've done so far this season. Unfortunately, Lehmann was let go on a free transfer to St. Pauli in Bundesliga 2. Mick Gudra was let go on an actual free transfer. We sold him for 0 to Erzberg, who I believe are still lingering in Regional Liga. Quihage went to Eintracht Braunschweig for 40,000. Thought that was a bit of a weird transfer, but there you go. Old mate's got a minimum fee release clause. He would have actually been a decent prospect to potentially keep. And I'll get into that being our tactic. He might have been able to be retrained. Anyway, the next one, looking back on it now that I've decided to go with a different approach, Cantillo might have actually been very, very useful as a central midfielder, box-to-box, type midfielder. But yeah, we did end up selling him. Again, we've only got the 3 non-EU players that can be registered in the squad as per your 3 Liga rules. So yeah, we let him go pretty early on this month. Sold him for 550k up front with another sort of 200k or 175k with league appearances and stuff like that. Verdugo was another one, the Argentinian. We let him go to Elversberg for 33, possibly going up to 63. The next one hurt. So Ivanovic, the 20-year-old centre back, he turned out really well. We've got him back on loan for this season, but he had a relegation release clause of 425k. I can't remember exactly who activated it. I don't know if it was I think it was Hoffenheim. I think Hoffenheim activated it. And essentially I offered him out for less, or I offered him out maybe for 400. Frankfurt came back for 350k, and I managed to put a percentage of next sale, maybe 30% on top of that. So if he transfers again, which might be likely, he's a very, very good player, very solid centre back, even for, I would say, Bundesliga or lower down in the Bundesliga clubs. He would have been such a good player to keep for this season. Would have been an absolute defensive rock. But glad he went there instead of the extra 75k transfer fee. I then let Ibrahima Kamara go to Grossersbach. He's a good little centre back. Probably should have kept him. He was cheap on the old wages as well. But a lot of these players were just unhappy at the club due to the fact that we got relegated. And then offers were coming in from 2 Bundesliga clubs or Bundesliga clubs. I mean, there's essentially nothing I can do, really. And that was also the case for Telga, who I was actually very, very excited having in the squad this season. I thought he was gonna do some damage here in 3-Liga, and would have been that perfect sort of wing back on the right-hand side. Schalke came in, 900k. The board actually accepted on our behalf. So couldn't do anything there. I tried to offer him out for a bit more money. I think I got an offer of 1.3 million. I'm trying to think who that was. I think it was HSV. So Hamburg put in an offer for 1.3. I accepted it. He ended up going to Schalke for 900k anyway. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyway, transfers in. Ben Blankenberg, pretty decent centre back. He's got better passing, so I feel like he'll be a much better ball playing defender as opposed to someone like Kamara here, who only had 9 passing. He's actually got 13 passing. So I feel like it just suits him a little bit better. The next player we brought in was Alessandro Garcia, 19-year-old Belgian. Very good player, 17 free kick taking as well. So hopefully he can bang a few goals in for us. Not a bad little sort of box-to-box midfielder, and that's going to be the role he plays in this first team. Not too bad on the wages, 1.7k. And I sort of set this deal up at the end of last season as I figured we were probably going to lose some players. Next player we brought in, again, also set up last season, Eric Augustin. Just a very versatile player that can play all along the back line. Can play centre-back, can play both sort of wing-back positions as well. Again, same sort of thing. I knew we were going to struggle. He's got 10 caps for the Rwandan national team. And he will probably be our starting right back, which is sort of worrying because he is left-footed. But he's a good player. The next player we brought in was Sean Gallagher. Pretty much a player I've been looking at for a little while. More or less the only player that we could actually afford to sign. So we signed him, and then we managed to get a little bit of a transfer fee out of Kamara. So not too bad, albeit it's only 12,500, possibly going up to 27,500 there. And then again, Mirko Ivanovic, after being sold, was loaned back for the season. So we will actually have him here, which is very good because, like I said, he'll be a rock in defense. However, we're not going to have him next season, which will be frustrating. As far as the tactic goes, this is the tactic we're going to be using, or at least trying to use, for this season. We're going to start on positive. I'm very happy to change that as we go. We verse the better teams in the league. I'm happy to just change it to cautious. And I think that's going to be better suited going forward this season. I'm also potentially going to change the deep lying forward to another advanced forward and just have 2 of them. I wonder if I can actually... Is there roam? There is roam from position, so it's something to think about. They do move into channels as well. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much the tactic. Just a 4-4-2. I've called it 4-4-2 second crack. And we're just going to see how it goes. So we've got wing backs, but they're both on automatic. So depending on whatever our mentality is, they're either going to be more attacking minded or more defensive minded, which I think is good. I'm no longer playing a sweeper keeper. I don't think the sweeper keeper role, especially this far down with keepers that aren't too intelligent, I think that's probably given us, conceded goals throughout the season. Going to play with one ball playing centre back. The other one's just going to be a centre defender, both on defend. Going into the midfield, like I said, we're going to have a box-to-box. It's going to be Garcia, looking for big things from him this season. And then a deep line playmaker on support. Don't really want to change it from a deep line. So Yeah, it's a tough one. I almost wanted to advance playmaker, but I feel like it'll be too attacking, especially on this side. Maybe if I change the side of these two around, have the left side be an advanced playmaker with an inside inverted winger, that could potentially work on support. I've got the right wing as attack, as Mbala is going to be a big player for us this season. I feel like didn't really play last season, didn't really fit the squad, but his pace in this division, along with the dribbling and crossing, I feel like he will cause some real damage. He does have an active relegation release clause, so there's potential that we could lose him as well. Very frustrating stuff. Very frustrating. Another thing to mention is Pajovic. He can play on both sides of the wing. And again, that's a pretty handy thing to have. He's got good crossing, good technique as well. So worth mentioning. I like the look of it. I like obviously having two strikers. It's not really something I'm very familiar with. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. The right wing back position, like I said, it's going to be a bit of an issue. I've got Leader there at the moment. He's 32 though, and he's lacking pace. Augustin's probably the player that's gonna at least play there for this season. Need to register Ivanovic, and then he can actually play this game. Romero's still here as well, worth mentioning. We just literally can't play him because we've got too many foreign players, too many non-EUs. Actually, do we? Who's our third? Vincent Bell. Oh yeah, Pajovic and then Jublovic. Okay, all good. But that's pretty much the rundown of the tactic anyway. Like I said, I'm happy to go versatile with it. Pre-season was dreadful. I was sort of chopping and changing tactics. And then at pretty much before the Dortmund game is when I decided to go with a 4-4-2. As you can see, we only lost 2-0 to Dortmund there. And then we just played a very weak side in Germania and beat them 5-0. Some decent scorers there. Yeah. Anyway, today's game is going to go Stuttgart 2 for the first 3-Liga game. Then we've actually got the DFB Pokal, or Pokal, again, I think it's Pokal, against Darmstadt 98. So maybe a little bit of revenge there against a 2 Bundesliga team. Yeah, looking forward. Trying to think. I think, do we have a rivalry with Chemnitzer? I think we do. Yeah, Chemnitzer. Got a rivalry with them, so that's probably our only actual rivalry game that we've got. Everyone else is either in the division above us or in the division below us. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. But let's get into the lineup. I mean, you've pretty much seen it. Preval's going to stay in. Instead of Smet, I'm going to do this. I'm going to swap Naranjo and Ivanovic, and we'll go pretty much how we did last season. And I think I might take Gallagher out. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. So we'll go with that lineup. I also had an offer of 2.4 million for a day. I negotiated it up from Schalke. Luckily, he doesn't have a relegation release clause. I decided to reject it because I look at a day and I think he should theoretically tear this division up. He's got the pace, he's got the finishing, he's got the holy trinity. Realistically, can we keep our hands on him though? That's the question. So anyway, enough about that. Let's get into today's game. A little bit of match fitness for a couple of people there. Then also a little bit of unfamiliarness with our tactic. It's going to be an interesting game. nonetheless. But let's just see what we can do, I guess. I mean, that's all we can do. It's a fresh start. A fresh start with the 4-4-2. And like I said, we're going to start on positive today. We'll see what happens. All right. A little bit of a lag spike there. Ivanovic to Jublovic. I mean, we already look like we're sort of playing a little bit faster, which is nice to see. Albeit we look like we're about to concede a goal there. Luckily for us, they can't hit the target. We do look like we're playing better, though. A lot less sort of worse average ratings than I feel like I would usually see. A day to Garcia, Jublovic shoots and he scores. And Garcia gets the assist as well. Good stuff. I like it. Leader now with a throw-in. Mbala. Susek. Susek's made a return to the team, by the way. Playing as that left wing, inverted winger today. Yeah, good tracking back there by Garcia as well. Literally showing what a box-to-box midfielder does. A day. Good to see a day's actually dropping deep as that deep lying forward as well. And I feel like this. I pretty much made this tactic from scratch. It's more or less just a gegenpress 4-4-2. And then obviously I changed a few player roles and stuff like that. As Prevel goes into a day, and Mbala, by finishing, gets himself a goal. Like I said, he's one that I worry about because I feel like he'll be very, very good this season. And that, relegation release clause, it's active. It's currently active. We got relegated, so it makes me nervous. I mean, as long as we can at least keep him until January, albeit I want to keep him the whole time, in theory. And I've got to say, that's a really good first half. I mean, Leader's out there struggling a little bit, so I might actually take him off. We'll go with Augustin. Give Augustin his debut. I mean, we are currently winning, so that's probably a good time for him actually to come on the pitch. Jublovic to Mbala. Into Garcia, who does lose the ball. Fought out on it. And Stuttgart, they get one back. That's a little bit frustrating. First ever goal for the club as well. It did sort of come down this left-hand side, which is interesting. Anyway, going to tell the boys that we're doing good. That was their first shot on target. Typical fashion, first shot on target. They score. Also, Grua Firth. Can't remember if I brought you guys back or not. They got relegated. So if it was us, we might have stayed up. Who knows? Anyway, Jublovic here. Pushing into the box himself. God, he's good. He's so good. If he plays in 10 games and we don't get relegated, he gets a automatic contract extension. So we've essentially got him for another year on top of this one. Ooh, that was a decent free kick there by Garcia. He's got that good free kick taking. Looking at subs. Ooh, we don't really have any strikers. That's the problem. Might go Bayer for Sunset Bell. And then I'll swap those two around. Have a day. Be the advance forward. Bayer can just sort of drop a little bit deeper. Naranjo with a good header. Jublovic to Bayer. To a day. And he's literally running through players. It's crazy. Bayer gets himself a goal. Is he offside though? Yeah, I think he's going to be offside. Unlucky. Susek not playing too well out there either. But I think at this point I might just leave him on. Probably should have taken Jublovic off as well, just to rest him. But I've got to say, this is, it's a pretty good performance for our first sort of game back in this division, as we concede another goal. It's really disappointing. I feel like we're always conceding these silly goals. They're going to a back five. Seems to be my kryptonite. Anyway, Prevel in the box. Garcia. Ooh, that was a decent shot. Very nice. Anyway, 2 shots on target as per usual for 2 goals. We're back in 3-legger. I mean, we get the win. 3-2 victory. It's very frustrating. We can't keep clean sheets. But there we go. Winning ways. You love to see it. Alrighty. I am going to skip forward the 8 days here, and I'll join you guys back for the DFB Pokal first round. Alright, so let's get into the lineup for Darmstadt here. Now, I've put the mentality back to cautious. Hendricks is also available, so I'm going to put him as the inside or inverted winger on this left-hand side. Everything else is pretty much the same except for the goalkeeper. And actually, Augustin is going to start today as Leader picked up that injury. He picked up a knock in that last game. He's also not great, so I'd rather go for Augustin, who's probably a little bit better going forward. Theoretically, just more of a, I don't know, a wing-back type player, if that makes sense. Theta is going to start in goals. Also worth mentioning, we did sign this player here on a free transfer. Luckily, because we're definitely lacking midfielders at the moment. So he's going to play deep line playmaker, support, and just be Jublovic's sort of rotation option. Only 325 per week, locked him down to a 3-year contract as well. Those wages are going to be very, very useful for us. And yeah, no clauses, which is great. He looks pretty good. He's determined personality, good determination, good teamwork, vision, work rate, 17 passing, and he's also solid defensively. So happy with all that. Lacking a bit of strength on him, but definitely a very good player for us to get in at the moment. He's only 20 years old as well, so plenty of growth. Yeah, so Susek's on the bench. Krolo picked up that injury. He's going to be out for 2 weeks. Gives Theta a chance to come in and potentially make that goalkeeper spot his own. We've got no backup goalkeeper. We do have a keeper in the under-19s. I'm going to risk it for today. Anyway, we're playing cautious. Let's get out there. Let's give him 12. That's a good number for a midfielder. Really, I mean, I'm not really expecting anything coming from this game. It'd be really good to get through to the second round, purely from a revenge standpoint and from a financial standpoint as well. Worth mentioning, I've been getting a lot more offers for a day. The striker, both Schalke and now Gladbach have put in further offers, which obviously made him upset. As a result, I had to put that I would agree to sell him for 3.6 million. So now what I'm doing is anytime they put in another offer, I'm getting rid of everything except the 3.6 mil up front, locking that in and then suggesting it. And every time they're declining. So it's good. Hopefully we'll be able to keep him. Like I said, he's got another 2 years on his contract anyway. That's a disappointing goal to concede there as well. Yeah, don't really know what happened there, but it is what it is. Darmstadt get the lead. I might even bump it up to positive after that, and we'll just see what happens. Take the game to them. Looks like they're trying to float their crosses in. That's half time. We're 1-0 down, but it's it's not exactly a terrible result so far. And we do have the ball here. Ivanovic to Naranjo into the midfield. Garcia, Mbala. Got really good pace, but that was just disappointing. Anyway, we win the ball back. A day who also has really good pace, and he also gives the ball away. Yeah, a little bit silly there. Darmstadt are coming forward now on the counter-attack. Most of our players are getting back. That's just a really good ball. That's a really good ball in behind. We don't really look too downtrodden out there today. Mbala's not playing too well, so I might take him off. Go him for Susek. Just missed a corner in the background there. Smet's also currently under bid, so yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about him as well. Augustin's not playing too well out there, so I'll bring Leader on, I guess, for another 30 or so minutes. I mean, Theta is playing pretty good. We've only conceded 1 goal from 7 shots on target. Interesting that Aday's defending out here is really sort of chasing and applying that gegenpress. That's the second shot they've hit the underside of the crossbar. Unable to save those. You can't save them. It's ridiculous. We haven't even had a shot on target yet. We finally get one. I mean, should I have kept it on cautious? Probably. Did I think we were going to lose this game anyway? Definitely. So there we go. I'm not too fussed. We're 3-0 down. The only concerning thing is that we haven't actually scored a goal. Because I feel like the 4-4-2 is very much more... It's more defensively solid, I would imagine, compared to the previous tactics I've used. But at the same time, I'm thinking it might be more attacking in certain senses, as we have 2 strikers up top. Anyway, Prevel to Hendricks. That's a nice goal. That's a beautiful goal. Hendricks to Sunset Bell. Back of the net. Sensational goal. We get one back. I'm pretty happy with that. Everything else, not so much. Theta actually played pretty well today. I mean, he's conceded 3, but he's also... The shots on target increased to 11 there in the space of about 10 minutes, so... I'll go, I'm not pleased with the result, but at the end of the day, we can't really be expected to be beating teams like that. Especially, like, some of these teams, look at them. I mean, even Hertha, for example, like, they would have been a better team for us to get from Bundesliga 2. We actually dominated possession. Interesting. It gives us another 153,000 for the finances there. Projection still looking pretty terrible, but this season not going to be too bad. So if we can get promoted, we might be onto something here. Anyway, it's a second chance. All right, this is what I'm talking about. Now Cologne are coming in. This is what I've got to deal with at the moment. I really want this transfer window just to end. I've sort of had enough. Anyways, if you can smash a like on the video, guys. We're back in 3 Liga. Hopefully we're back winning in 3 Liga and getting promoted. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. Apart from that, as always, take it easy and goodbye.